I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
It's every Red Raiders' favorite podcast. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Happy Tuesday. It's Tech Talk on Double T 97.3. Thank you for joining us. I'm Clint Scott. He's Dr. Mike Gustafson. Kyler Brown behind the glass taking care of us, as is Caden Simpson. It is time to dive into our first conference as we go throughout the day picking conference champions. By the third hour, we'll give you our full CFP field. As always, you can tell us where you think we're right, where we're wrong, if you want to give us yours. In the end, we'll send ourselves an email. And if you feel really strongly about it, we might even include your list on the email. That's almost fun. So we'll see. It's something we didn't talk about. Is it just do we have to get the seed right, or if we just get the teams, do we get a point? Are we keeping score here? I got to tell you, but before we start, I think it's really hard in the sport of college football to feel great about your full 12-team field. I think you might be feeling great about like a handful of teams, but every single year we get everyone's predictions. I am not saying that you should go off mine anyways, but mine was not great last year. Mine was decent the year before. Last year was kind of a mess. I had Tech right though. That was good. I nailed that one. So we'll see how we end up doing. But before we dive in and get there and we go into any conference championships, what's your confidence level at this, Gus?
Of the Red Raiders?
No, when you get into what your eventual CFP field is going to look like.
Well, I feel pretty good about it.
You're the back locks champ.
Still a little short on a trophy there, Clint.
Yeah. Give it a second, a little bit. And also,
why would I keep participating? They didn't get a prize. Just
it's like in the NBA where you get the ring at like the start of the
why wouldn't I just go to Kalshi or one of those things and play? Why do I mess with you, Clint?
Why don't you?
I want my 2-inch trophy, Clint, and I want it now.
Worst name.
I want a 2-inch trophy, and I want it now. How's that?
2-inch trophy. That's accurate.
Trophy, and I want it now.
All right, let's start with the Big 12, and we can start by just saying who's beating who. What's the matchup, and who's winning it?
Big 12.
Big 12.
BYU and Texas Tech.
I wonder if we're all going to be the same here, so just go ahead and rip off. Texas Tech will beat BYU in my Big 12 championship prediction. Kyler, anything different?
No, sir. I have the same. Texas Tech over BYU.
So this is what I'm interested in. If I said like the third team on your list would be, if I said Texas Tech wasn't winning the Big 12 championship, if I said BYU wasn't winning the Big 12 championship, the team that you would expect next, who would be on that ladder? Because I think it's all cycling between 4 to 5 teams depending on people's contenders list.
So you're saying as a third option there?
Yeah, like who would you feel the best about? We're not like putting this down for prediction. Yeah.
Man. No, I don't want to give up. I think I want to give the what do you kids say? Flowers? Give flowers to the senior quarterback there in Tucson.
Ooh, to Arizona. Yeah. My issue with Arizona is they just seem so inexperienced everywhere else.
I know.
Like it's like Noah Fafita might be the best this year might be the best quarterback in the Big 12. And he's certainly one of the most experienced. And then you look at the wide receiver room and it's like they could be really good, but it's not even in the same conversation like for the Red Raiders where like there's some inexperience. I don't know what the ceiling is for that. Like I know you have a really high ceiling with your receivers. They just have, like you said, so much unknown for Arizona. It kind of scares me.
They sort of scare me in the idea of an individual game in which that a certain quarterback can take over a game. It feels like it's him.
Mm-hmm.
that just where the team rises up out of nowhere and wins a game because the quarterback runs around and makes all these plays. And if there's anyone capable of doing that in this league, I think it's him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I may be selling Lagway and some of those other dudes short, but
I don't necessarily
those
think
guys
selling Lagway short.
I don't. Those guys have to sort of earn their way back into our consciousness, right?
Sure. Yeah. How high is the intrigue list for Baylor and DJ Lagway and the whole Dave Aranda
as a third choice?
No. Just like, are you going to be tuning into Baylor games, or is it like, tell me if Aranda's fired, or tell me at week 6, let me reassess and see what they've done and look at their body of work?
I think that's the better scenario there. Get us through get us to October 1st, and then we'll talk. Mm-hmm. There may be a point there that we'll feel like, ooh, hey, they've announced their presence with authority. I mean, they got a game against Auburn, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there may be the moment to go, hey, they went toe-to-toe. Not that Auburn's...
I was going to say...
But still, if they can't compete with Auburn, because we've done this before, Clint, where we've looked at a matchup versus a bottom SEC team and gone, hey, if you can't beat them, why are we talking about, who's going to beat Georgia or whatever else? Like, man, we got a team that we think is going to win 8 or 9 games that can't beat Mississippi State and Starkville,
right?
Which that was ASU 2 years ago, right? 3 years ago, too. Yeah. Now they got their business together. Is that the way to say it? They got their stuff together and went from there.
Was that last year?
I thought it was 2 years ago, wasn't it? All right, Clint, you keep going.
Yeah.
Let's stay on the rails.
All right, so I think the team that I would feel the best about next, and even then this is where I'm really confident in your roster. I'm really confident in BYU's roster. I think I would pick Utah next, even though I feel like we know more about Houston. And it's mostly because I think Utah will be the best ground game again in the Big 12. But here's what's tough for Utah. The strength of their team has been the offensive line. I think they want that to be the strength of the team again. They lost. It wasn't just like they lost 2 NFL tackles. No, they lost everybody, and every single one of those players is getting some chance at the NFL, but they didn't.
Right, so stars and veterans.
For what they lost with head coach, offensive coordinator, a couple of transfers like John Henry Daly, which I don't take lightly, I don't think they lost a ton with the offensive line, and really, I guess what I'm banking on is they will be a good unit again because this was the plan. It was the plan for all of these guys to step up, and then I really do like the backfield of Dampier and Ficklin and Parker.
And a hire from within, that means it's not a huge cultural change.
Yeah, I don't think the identity. So I'm leaning. I would lean them over Houston, but again, way more confident in the initial pick that we all have. So let us know what you think. Red Raiders over BYU for us. We'll go back in time, and then in hour number 2, we will move to a different conference. More next.
The podcast that finishes your workday in a very Red Raider way. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
It is Tech Talk on Double T 97.3. Thank you for joining us. Hour number 2 of 3. We'll go up to 6 o'clock. Clint, Gus, Kyler, Caden, Rangers and White Sox tonight. Game 2. The Rangers won Game 1. Astros starting a series with the Yankees. That'll be at 5:35, 100.7 the score. Let's go back to the H Flooring Center chat line. Texas Tech 2023 and prior can see a quarterback like Fafita doing that to Texas Tech, but no chance that's happening to Texas Tech in this iteration.
Let's go.
Yeah, I know. I agree with that.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
I would be looking at anybody else in the Big 12, like who, because they play a few. Let me go refresh my memory on their schedule, but I know they have a few of the other what I would label fellow favorites on there. My fat fingers could type. That'd be great. That'd be awesome. I don't know what the Arizona Wildcats are, but yeah, because
they're scary.
So good
thing we got them at home.
So they have BYU week 2 at BYU. And that is, I would label one of the bigger games in the conference. Maybe not the biggest, but it's certainly one of them up there. Obviously, they have you, and then they're at home against Utah. And that one against Utah is way late. And I'll say this for Kansas State. I think Kansas State will be a bowl team. I don't think that they will be in the running for an actual threat to make it to Arlington. But I'll tell you what, if they are late in the season, Week 11 hosting Arizona, like those are the games I look like can Noah Fafita pop off. And in my estimation of their offense, can he be the type of veteran quarterback that lifts them up and gives them some extra juice and maybe wins those 50-50 games? We'll see.
Yeah, that's sort of what I was getting at with the with what I was saying earlier. I think the one game rise up and scare the dog out of you senior quarterback is there. And it probably isn't the right pick for who's the third best candidate. It's probably way smarter to pick a Houston or a Utah, something like that, and just stay with the solid choice there. But you know,
it's funny because
it's the one game thing that I sort of think about that makes me nervous with Fafita.
I don't view the Big 12 as being this like wide open version of the conference, especially if you're going between Texas Tech and BYU. But it feels wide open of who could be the third best team. It feels wide open of who could be like a step above the meaty middle or mucky middle or whatever you want to call it. So, yeah. Be interesting to watch there. Let's go. Let's knock out another conference. Let's move to the ACC, shall we? And I'll give you one of my, I don't know, it's a strong opinion of how I feel about the sport of college football when it comes to teams that should win their conference. And I'm going past the Power 4 level here. If you are looking at every conference on the FBS Division I level, when you're looking at the rosters compared to everybody else, I think there are two teams that it would be labeled, as we look at it right now, an abject failure if they did not win their conference. I think Texas Tech with the Big 12 is one of those. I feel that strongly about your roster. Many but share that opinion. I'm not like hot take over there.
No,
I think Miami in the ACC is the other one.
I agree.
I've got Miami over SMU, who I also think has a very, very good roster. I view this a lot like you and BYU. Like, I think SMU has a ton of talent over there, and I think they've got a coach that knows what he's doing. A lot of people like Louisville, too. I like SMU more. I'll take the Hurricanes over SMU, and I think that they don't have... They might lose to Notre Dame, but I don't think they'll have the conference collapses that they did last year that put that in jeopardy.
Oh, Miami?
Miami.
Yeah, they did have conference collapses. I mean, especially once you go through and watch them play in the December and January, and like, how did they lose to, who was it, Pitt and some... Wasn't it?
Well, they lost again. They lost to... SMU was one of those teams that they lost to because they start the season, they pull out a tough game against Notre Dame, win that one, and then they lose by 3 points to Louisville, and then they lose at SMU in overtime. And
Louisville's what I'm thinking of.
And again, one solid team, one good team, but still they should not have dropped those games, and Carson Beck was an absolute mess. And I think they bring back a ton.
And they've recruited well.
Yes,
they're together on NIL and those things, and
regular season we'll see Darian Mensah might be an upgrade over Beck. Ruben Bain, big loss, but then they add like Damon Mathis from Missouri, one of the best pass rushers, also in the port. So it's like what they did lose, I felt like they replaced it pretty effortlessly. So yeah, any difference between an opponent or winner?
Definitely not
winner
on the Miami side. I mean, I don't know who would challenge them, and you know, I think we're all tired of expecting Clemson to bounce back, right?
Right.
Probably too soon for Virginia Tech to rise up and get their thing going again. Although I would think that they could be back to being a bowl team and because they were recruiting and getting a bunch of 4-stars and stuff like that. But it's just too soon, I would think, to be able to go pop Miami in the nose. I mean, yeah, I don't know what else is. I don't know who else jumps off the page, especially at a point in time right now with Florida State being down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you want to look at that, we were just going to blur our eyes. We go, right, Florida State and Clemson, Miami, right?
Well, it's like
not really.
Yeah, in years past, if I ran down a schedule,
yes,
and I said, okay, week 5, this team is going to go to Clemson. Week 6, they're going to be home against Florida State. You go, my gosh, is that the toughest part of their schedule? And for Miami, it's like, no, it is. It is not. I do not view it that way. If they lose either of those games again, that would be a disaster for them. And if they lost either game too, the flip side of that, I don't think I would expect myself to be like, okay, Clemson's back or Florida State is back.
No.
Texas is back.
Well, yeah. I mean, Florida State's been so crazy up and down. 2 years ago, they run the table and get left out, and then last year collapsed. By the way, you were correct. ASU at Mississippi State, the game I'm thinking of, like a 24-20 type game, was this time last year, September last year.
That feels like that was 5 years ago.
That's where I was going. My perception got in the way of the reality, which is often the case.
When we come back, it'll be a play of the day. More Tech Talk coming up next.
The podcast put together with Red Raider fans in mind. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Hey, it's Tech Talk on Double T 97.3, DoubleTSportsNetwork.com, and the Double T 97.3 mobile app, brought to you by Happy State Bank. I'm Clint, he's Gus, Skylar and Caden helping us out. Behind the glass, taking care of us. Keep hitting us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Thoughts, comments, questions, favorite Dolly Parton song, give us that today as well. We will continue on with our conference championship predictions, plus go back to the Yates Flooring Center chat line after Kyler's play of the day.
And he swings and drives out, deep out to right. Nimmo back to the wall, reaches up, and he got it! What a play by Brandon Nimmo! He saves 2 runs, and he ends the inning.
What a play by Brandon Nimmo. I love seeing home run robberies. My favorite part about that call was that as soon as the ball was off the bat, you heard the crack, and then you hear the crowd just start screaming because they know it's a home run. And then Nimmo snags it, and his reaction after he caught it was just priceless. He just sat there, pumped his fist, and big smile on his face like, yes, I finally got me one in the big leagues. Just kind of the vibes it gave me. But the Rangers got a much-needed victory over the White Sox 11-2. They need to keep on winning these games. And guess what, guys? They're 66-66. So y'all know what that means. Win or lose. 6-7.
Oh my gosh. It was such a strong play of the day. It was really good. Go. And then at the end, you were just like, let's merge into oncoming traffic. So thanks for that. That was extra difficult because like the glove, it's one of those where it like snaps almost at a downward angle.
Awkward angle.
Yeah. Not that it's like way easier if you kind of just have the glove straight up and you get one of those, but still, I mean, the degree of difficulty anytime you're robbing a home run. Who was it the other night that like climbed the fence in center field? Who was that?
I saw that. Was it not a minor leaguer?
No, I thought it was.
Okay.
I thought it was majors.
Yeah, I know. I saw it because he got the one hand on there and sort of pulled himself up, right?
Yeah.
The throwing hand. I know. Who was that? That was big league play, obviously. That's different.
Jacob Young.
There you go.
Yeah.
Those plays like that, there's not a and I spent all my time on the infield, so I don't.
Nationals.
I've only heard it discussed, but those plays like that, it's one thing to be able to get back to the wall and set up and jump and maybe climb the wall or go over the wall, 8-foot wall, and you're 10 feet over, you got a shot, right? But the ones that you're talking about were the dudes like those guys can tell you, generally speaking, they'll tell you, like, hey, how big's the warning track? Well, you got 2 steps and a jump. Mm-hmm. And what they're telling you is when the feet go from grass to warning track.
There's a wall coming up next. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, especially when they're at full blast. And so it's one of the things that those dudes will do in their first games into a ballpark, that they'll go check that out because some tracks are bigger than others. But I'm just saying, there's a whole lot going into that to be able to time it and climb the wall and deal with the wall. Because we've talked about it. How many times does somebody get to the wall, look like they're in good shape, and jump and hit the wall going up? And like, you gotta keep yourself free of the wall. You
time that better, yeah.
Yeah, you got to keep yourself free of the wall. It's almost like being under the bucket in hoops and like going up into the bottom of the rim. Like, now you got to give yourself space. Yeah, some of those cats that do it, and Jim Edmonds used to have those kind of plays all the time. You're like, man.
Well, and Jacob, so if you haven't seen it, you should go look it up. So he gets a foot on the wall, and he is using his foot to climb up that fence, and also times where he's getting his hand kind of in the chain links there, and then backhands it. It's just, it's like the type of play that everybody that's playing beer league softball has convinced them they can make if they get in the right spot, and then hurts themselves.
It was very Bo Jackson-esque. The only thing he didn't do was run on the wall.
Right, yeah. And it's just hard. I mean, that's a time to leap and everything, get a foot in the wall and get your hand on it to pull up. I mean, the level of difficulty gets way different. Okay, again, if you can get back there and set up and jump, that's one thing, but those aren't the ones that leave us, dazzled like what Nimmo did.
Okay, so
by the way, Nimmo's a pretty dang good athlete.
Yeah,
he really is.
The Jacob Young catch. If I don't blow out my ACL trying to jump up there, if I don't break my ankle on the fence, if I don't dislocate a finger trying to put it in the chain link, I can rest assured I'll still drop it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. There's that. It's go ahead and catch the thing at the very end. That's part of the deal. Because you can do all the other stuff and go, okay, and 2 steps, you got to jump, hand over here on the wall, time the deal, stayed free of the wall, off the side of the glove.
Yeah. Pretty incredible. Yeah. I think there's still a decent culture change when the beloved previous coach was pushed out. This is for Utah, by the way. Pushed out the door and took players. Not sure that creates a unified culture when the head coach Minnie signed on to play for is effectively told to go away and didn't retire. He went to a premier Big Ten school and made it clear it was personal when taking players. I feel like there's going to be some regression in Utah. The administration might have wanted to move on, but I'm not sure the players felt the same. I think there's some truth to that.
Yeah, sure.
But I also think that the players that if they were really upset, they had their opportunity to leave. And not even like, hey, we're coming to Michigan with you, because there might have been some, and Kyle Whittingham was like, nah, we're probably not going to have a spot for you over there. But they could have went somewhere else. So
true.
But I also like the coach and waiting thing. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it does. But they knew what the plan was they knew who their guy was going to be. So I think that helps. And it wasn't like pushed out and then we're pushing you out and we're bringing in somebody that these players don't know anything about. I think that there's probably the people, the ones that stayed there probably like Morgan Scalley, but you never know unless you're in those locker rooms. So I think there's some truth to that text, certainly.
Yeah, because he was a D coordinator before, so you'd think those guys would be familiar with it. But yeah, it's true. I mean, sometimes a coach leaving is just, rats scattering.
Take Devin Dampier, for instance. I'm not saying had he gone to the portal that like LSU would have been like, let's go get him. But I think that there would have been. Had he
gone to the Browns first, though. Maybe.
But like Devin Dampier, if he was really unhappy, he would have had some offers. He would have found a home that I think would have been a very good home for him and done just fine. So like I'm not worried about him. Same thing with Wayshawn Parker. Had he been upset, he could have found somewhere else to go and been taken care of. I think Bird Ficklin could have been that. Bird Ficklin could have stayed in the Big 12, and there's a lot of Big 12 teams that have said, we can find a spot for that speed and athleticism. So,
wouldn't he be interesting in Kansas State?
Yes, not in a good way. I'm glad that didn't happen.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm just saying what we think is going to be the offense that they're setting up.
So we'll see. As far as like the culture side, I wouldn't be floored if the texture's right, but I lean towards the side of like they'll be fine.
Agree.
This texter says the Spanish version of Achy Breaky Heart is also pretty good. I will have to check that out.
So find good.
Want me to go like to Webster and Merriam, ask them about it? Gus wants a definition of good. When we come back, we'll move on to a new conference as we pick the conference champs today. It is Tech Talk on Double T 97.3. Thanks for joining us.
It's every Red Raiders' favorite podcast. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3. Presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Yeah, it is interesting that we were just talking about Dolly Parton when it was Porter Wagner's birthday.
and
was that 2 weeks ago, last week?
and I think we also talked about it, the thought that she was having recently this Betty. I compared her to Betty White in that, like, the kids were getting her, and she was willing to dive into their humor and their music and stuff. And I say kids, but Kyler's generation, whatever. Remember, because what we talked about was Betty White hosted SNL,
right
in her late 80s, probably, maybe 90. And I said, Dolly Parton would be the kind of person who is in it for the laughs enough that she might host. And then we looked it up, and she did host once in the spring of '89. But yeah,
that had been a while ago.
Yeah, and again, it had everything to do with her willingness to say stuff to get a laugh.
Yeah,
and then because there has to be some of that. But yeah, it's kind of a sad day there. I guess to say. No doubt she got all she could squeeze out of life, right? It's hard to go, poor lady. Said, but
she didn't experience anything.
Right, quite the opposite.
If you have a favorite Dolly Parton song, you can give us that on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Kyler has been playing them from there. You can also give us your CFP picks, your conference championship picks. So far, we have picked the Big 12. If you missed it, we all picked Texas Tech over BYU. We picked the ACC. We all picked Miami over SMU. Let's see if we can have a little difference here, huh? We don't have to be different just to be different, so I'm just putting that out there. I'm not changing anything. Gus, I'm going to let you go first as we move to the conference that just keeps winning those national championships, the biggest of tens, the Big Ten. Who is going to win and who's going to be in that conference championship game?
It probably is a mistake to go this route, but I'm going to leave the defending national champs out of it, even though the fighting Kurt Signettis could do no wrong last year. I've got Oregon beating the Buckeyes.
Dang it. All right, so there's no difference here so far between us two. I agree with you, and this is, I think Indiana will be in the college football playoff field. Mm-hmm. I think the defense will be really good again. I think the running game and offensive line will be really good again. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. It wasn't like some fluke of a championship last year.
No.
But there's a couple of games where the ball bounces their way. Mm-hmm. Well, and certainly when they got to the playoff, I mean, they just smacked Alabama around and then did the same thing to Oregon. But will they do the same with Josh Hoover? I think that their regular season schedule is a little bit tougher than what it was last year. So, there's more coming back to me at major parts, specifically of the offense for Oregon and Ohio State, that I agree. And I think Oregon will be slightly more explosive than Julian saying and the Buckeyes. So I really didn't think we would be the same here, but we have the same thought process here. If I said for you to give me a Big Ten like dark horse team, because I think the conference is really interesting over there, who would that be? Is it USC? Is it Michigan, Kyle Whittingham? Yeah. Is it Iowa? Ugh.
The Cornhuskers.
Is it the Cornhuskers? Is it Penn State and the Fighting Matt Campbells and Rocco Becht?
The Northwestern Wildcats.
Okay, all right. Let's be serious here.
Too far? Sorry. You're right.
Just kidding.
It's probably a little too soon for a couple of those, but
is it Washington? They're very interesting this year.
Yeah, they really are. Surely Washington and USC play each other, right?
Yes.
It's such a It really is It's something we didn't have to deal back. This is where the old man here talks about back in my day. We didn't have to wonder, was this conference foe going to play that conference foe? Mm-hmm. And now we're not even. We're not even.
So Washington first, Kyler. What's your winner and loser?
I originally was also thinking the title game would be Ohio State and Oregon. I had Ohio State beating Oregon, but just to be a little different, I'm gonna do Ohio State and Michigan, and Ohio State still winning.
So you get the game, the big game, and then the big game 2.0. That'd be really fun. Yeah, Washington. Remember their little quarterback situation? And their quarterback was like, I am headed to the South. And they were like, well, Mr. Damon Williams, you remember you're under contract. And he was like, oh, yeah. And then went back. And then you really haven't heard anything from that story. That was like, boy, there's got to be a bunch of unrest and just anxiety, whatever, stress, tightness, anger, I don't know, all of that. That seems to be pretty much buried story-wise. And started, I was like, man, we're going to talk about Washington and old Jed Fish, who isn't like the most, in my opinion, trustworthy coach. You didn't ask Arizona about that. Trustworthy coach in the sport anyways. And then we really haven't heard anything about that.
And to be clear, you're not implying he's not trustworthy. You're talking about like in delivering good performances from a football team. You make it sound like he's embezzling money out of the cash
Well,
register.
Not embezzling, but I wouldn't have been pumped how he left Arizona.
I got it. No, I understand. I just make so.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying he's everybody
I don't trust him to win the
You get this shot in your knee and you get back in there.
Exactly.
But Washington, what's interesting about them is I think they're good enough to beat USC, which would be October 3rd. I think they're more than good enough to beat Iowa. And I think they're more than good enough, even though I don't think Penn State, in my opinion, should be ranked in the top 25 to start the season. Whatever. We'll see if they are November 7th. If they are, more than good enough to beat Penn State. So if they get through like their first 10 games and they're 9-1 or even 10-0, even 8-2, their last two games are against Indiana at home and then at Oregon.
Ooh.
So they have a chance at being a little bit of a pest of a team. That's why I think Rob Rowe back in the cubicles is tired of me talking about Washington. That's just such a fun way to end the schedule for a team that I don't necessarily, obviously didn't pick them to be in the Big Ten Championship. I didn't even have them third on that list. Probably wouldn't have them fourth because I'd probably put Michigan next. But they could be that team that's like good enough to ruin somebody's dream of going to the Big Ten Championship.
I agree.
Well, we've been just picking favorites so far. We'll see what happens with the SEC.
I mean, you're not picking individual games. You're talking about teams running the season here.
Yeah. We'll see if we pick the SEC favorite too when we get there in hour number 3. Up next, we'll go back to the Yates Flooring Center chat line. You got Tech Talk on Double T 97.3.
The podcast put together with Red Raider fans in mind. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
This texter said on the Yates Flooring Center chat line, Clint, you sound like Chuck singing songs you don't know.
I got blocked. 1975 right there with that song. 75?
I can sing it when she's singing it. I can sing it with her.
Can we hear a little straight up? I want to tell you about one of the there. Bop, bop, bop. Or am I just a hit and run?
There's an example in case any of the listeners were wondering.
I didn't need to do that.
1977.
Nice.
Dang.
This texter said,
75.
Who wrote Islands in the Stream? Do you know? I didn't know this. I gave the answer.
Let's go. Probably the pop star. We'll go Barry Manilow.
The Bee Gees.
Really? Wow.
I'm also not going to fact check this at all. I'm going to tell as many people as I see from here to the time I go to bed. That's how trusting of a person I am.
Favorite lie that you think we'll read on the air.
I trust it. Time to we've picked the Power 4 conference champs. Gus is now going to tell us the MAC, the Sun Belt, the American, the Mountain. No, I'm just kidding. We now it's time to give our full CFP fields. Let's start with who the top 4 teams we think will be and who are getting the bye. I believe with the rotation, it's my turn to go first. So I will just jump right in. I think your top 4 seeds will be Oregon as the number 1. I think the Ducks will take that top seed after winning the Big Ten. I think Notre Dame will be the number 2. I think they'll also be the reason for something else coming up. Georgia winning the SEC, I think, will be the 3. And then number 4, I think Miami gets the nod. I think both you and Texas Tech, both you and Miami will be undefeated.
Yep. You can't take them both.
Excuse me. I think Miami will have 1 loss.
Oh.
I think they will lose to Notre Dame, but I don't think they'll get dinged for it. I think that they will have more of a schedule nod. So that's why I'm leaning towards Miami.
And so you think if we run the table, we'll still be behind them with a weak schedule?
I think so. It's just been talked about so much. I think it'll be held against you.
Okay. What they did in the postseason last year probably didn't hurt. I don't know. I know it's not supposed to matter, but
also the brand is not supposed to matter. But
right.
So there you go. Those are my 4.
I have Oregon 1, Georgia 2, Miami 3, Tech 4.
I like yours more.
Yeah.
Although I'm not going to complain in mine when you get a home game.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully it's that same question we had last year.
Right. Kyler.
We got number 1, Ohio State. Number 2, Georgia. And then Michigan and Oregon.
Ooh. So you had Ohio State playing Michigan in the Big Ten Championship game.
Yes.
And then they're doing what you did last year with Indiana and Ohio State, where they both get interesting.
Yes. Main reason I switched that up, I had originally Oregon, but I didn't want us all 3 to go the same thing again, so I just put Michigan in that championship game. But yeah.
And I'm hearing 3 Big Ten teams in your top 4. Is that right?
Yes.
Ooh, nervous.
All right, time for 5 through 12. Texas Tech. There you go. Right there at number 5. 6, I have Ohio State. I have Texas as the 7 seed. Indiana, the reigning champs, as the 8 seed. Michigan as the 9 seed. Here you go. Here's my first, what I feel like. I guess Michigan's probably a little bit of a wild card. It works out for LSU, and they wind up in the playoffs as the 10 seed. I guess this would be my next wild card. I don't think, until I see the Big 12 get 2 teams in, I will never pick them. However, I think SMU is going to sneak into the playoffs with the 11 seed. And then your G6 champ, I think the best will be Boise State, and I will put them in at 12. So that would be who you're hosting in mine. You'd be hosting Boise State with Miami on the other side.
See, we talked about that last year, and there was concern, may not be the right word, but the thought of, hey, we're finally getting the opportunity to host, and then it's Tulane. Mm-hmm. I don't say finally, but man, this could be cool. December 20th.
Yeah, who
everybody
are we
come back
in?
to
Is
town,
it Oklahoma?
blah, blah, blah.
Is it,
like,
yeah.
Man, you know, and that's not me saying that. I'm just saying like that it may not have the sizzle that we would like if it was a Texas Tech Notre Dame type thing, or Texas Tech versus Power 4. But at 5, you're hosting 12, and then it's not as sexy. I think we had McMurphy the other day. 5 Texas Tech, 12 UNLV.
He had them going all the way to the semis.
Yeah,
I think losing to the Buckeyes
with a little tilt there in Arlington, Texas, on New Year's Day. What that? Would you like that, Clint?
Yeah.
You remember how earlier I said, "Oh, Clint, hold me." This is actually when I need to be held.
Okay.
The thought of hold me
right
there.
All right, the rest of your seeding for the playoffs.
And you're me, right?
Yes.
Here we go. All right. Number 5, I'm going Notre Dame. Number 6, the Hoosiers. Number 7, Ole Miss. I don't even know what to think about that.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of middle teams in the SEC that are confusing. Sorry, keep going.
Number 8, SMU. Number 9, A&M. Number 10, Alabama. Number 11, BYU. Number 12, Navy. How about that? Navy.
Ooh, so you're going double ACC and double Big 12 there.
I know. That's probably wrong, but
I hope BYU gets in
I'm
there.
trying to be optimistic here.
I just see you're optimistic. I'm glass half full with the Big 12.
I know. You're probably right.
Or you're half full. I'm half empty. Whatever.
I think I might be content if one or the other of us get 2 teams in, right? If the ACC or us get 2 in, like we combine to get 3 in.
As long as you're in, I really don't care.
I know. I'm with him.
All right, Kyler, take us home.
I've got the Longhorns at 5, then Miami, Notre Dame, Indiana, Texas Tech, LSU at 10, SMU at 11, and I'm with you, Clint. I've got Boise State at 12.
All right, there you go. If you want to give us your playoff teams, you're welcome to. Again, where we're right, where we're wrong. Fact check it. They wrote this and many other pop songs in the 80s after disco got burned by the Chicago DJ who called for the end of disco. I really believe you. I was just kidding. It seems like
That wouldn't surprise me at all because
Yeah.
the Bee Gees did a bunch of that kind of stuff. And it may have been one of those things that, like, it was intended to be a duet between, Olivia Newton-John and somebody else, and
and Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne.
Oh, sorry.
He would have been really little at that point.
Yeah.
What a feature.
I think
All right.
Lil Wayne, I saw his son was a kicker.
Oh my gosh.
It was on my ESPN.
How about
feed.
that?
This has been the Tech Talk Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.